Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to another Princess Connect video. So this is the next installment of the Illya series, where I will talk about my recommendations on whether or not you should be pulling for her depending on where you are in the game. So I want to make this video a bit of an educational one because I want to provide all the information I have, speaking from my experience on other servers as well as the current climate in global. And then hopefully you can make your decision yourself after all these information have been processed by you. And if you still are undecided, then you can listen to my suggestions at the end of the video. So just looking at Illya, so let's go through the pros and cons. So the pros is she's obviously, if you see my last video, she's going to be meta defining. With her offensive variations in arena, she's going to be having about 90 to 90% plus win rate. There are different ways to run her, and of course I'll release a video on the different comps you can use with her. But with these variations, pretty much nothing can really defend against it. And even if it can, then that comp will lose to other comps. For example, you can use a Reno Bomb in arena defense against Illya, and it somewhat works. However, you can just run 3 tanks and 2 healers to beat the Reno comp. So she's definitely going to change the meta, and it's, I believe, a welcoming change, so we don't have to see a lot of Tamakis or the Ninon plus mage kind of variation. But yeah, so definitely in Battle Arena she's going to be huge, and then also in Princess Arena, as I've mentioned before, you actually just pretty much have to win 1 out of the 3 teams, because for example, you fight player A and you see his team 1, 2, and 3, and you know you can win team 2. You just have to pair the Illya team against the team 1 or the team 3, and you pretty much will win the 2 out of 3. So that's her impact in terms of the PvP side. So for those players that have not received their rank 1 reward for PvP yet, this is a great time, because with Illya you can easily get those rank 1 rewards from both brackets. And of course, Illya is a top tier waifu, so she is, as you can see, she has the adult version as well as the other version, which turns her, I think, into a much smaller version of herself. So whatever suits your needs, she can satisfy both. And also, I want to talk about her CB usage and her uses in other game modes. However, I'm gonna leave that to the in the middle section, where it's give and take in terms of having both the advantage and disadvantage. So going over to the cons list, for Illya, she needs 5-star to really perform. 4-star, I did run 4-star Illya for a tiny bit on the CN server, but it wasn't really viable in my opinion. I mean, you could make do, but there's just too many instances where she'll die because of her self-crit, and you can refer to my first video to learn about the mechanics. But you really need her 5-star, so that means a 1150 divine amulet commitment to get her there. And if you even if you keep her at 4-star, I think that's a 400 amulet commitment. So she is a perm unit, so which means she's always going to be in the perma pool after her introduction, so you can get her. She's not a limited unit like Summer Kyaru. So using divine amulets on a permanent unit is not what I would recommend. However, Illya obviously is the exception, just because how big of a performance boost she gives. But that's still a lot of amulets to commit for a unit that's going to be in the permanent pool. She will get her hard nodes, I think, much later on in 18 or earlier, but it definitely comes later on, and by the time you reach the hard nodes, when the hard node actually unlocks, you'll be missing a lot of her early dominance. So yeah, it's either going to be you're pulling for her and 4-starring or 5-starring, which is what I recommend, or you're just not going to pull her at all. And also, Illya as a unit needs enablers. So that means units like Yukari, Yuki, Monica, Maho, and Saren. If you're just starting out and you don't have these enablers, then Illya is not going to do much for you. She shines the brightest when you can pair her up with characters that can heal her, keep her alive, or TP chargers that can make sure she gets her UB out within the first 5 seconds. So without the enablers, Illya is an easy skip for you. And also one thing that's bad about Illya, I would say, is because due to the foresight from other servers, she is not going to be as impactful. There are already counters to Illya comps. For example, the Ninon variant or the Tamaki plus Arisa Mitsuki variant can deal with some form of Illya. So Illya on defense is not going to be as good. And also, with Illya as part of the predicted banner, a lot of people will have prepared the Ninon and been farming her nodes, and Ninon might be 5-star by the time Illya is in arena. So just something to think about. And people obviously also know that later on the Summer Pico will counter her to an extent, as well as H Shinobu. So what are some things that are in the middle in terms of it could be a pro and con? So Illya, her other usage in terms of story, I wouldn't recommend her for story, but Luna Tower, you'll have some stages where you'll be using Illya for sure. And clan battle. So for the next clan battle in boss 5, because the crab has a lower magical defense stat, there are comps where you can use Illya. So it's Illya plus Kyoka plus Kyaru and Akari, and the last slot is kind of flex. It's either Misato or a DPS. However, what's interesting to note that is you can still run a physical team 3 for that boss, so it's not 100% guaranteed that you'll need to run Illya there. And also, I took a look at some of the team comps for Clan Battle 5, and just going off of my memory, I don't remember Illya being used much at all in Clan Battle 5. So her Clan Battle usage really will start to pick up when Summer Kyaru is out. And so by the time that comes around, then you can obviously have multiple opportunities to get her, and which I'll talk about in the banner section. And next is the arena performance. So I mentioned previously, due to the foresight, there will be counters to Illya on her release, even if you 5-star her. However, variations of Ilya's will beat the counters. And also, the advantage of foresight is there are actually comps that Illya can run to beat Summer Pico, as well as H Shinobu. So H Shinobu on release destroys Illya because what happens is she has a targeting attack that targets the lowest HP, and often in these cases it will be Illya, and it will crit and kill Illya and then do splash damage against the rest of the team. However, there is a Rima comp that you can run that actually can beat the H Shinobu variations. So that is due to foresight and because people had time to practice. So when Global comes out, definitely you can still see Illya a lot in Arena. So these are the pros and cons. Hopefully that kind of give you some ideas on your own thoughts of whether or not you would want to be pulling Illya. It is a hefty commitment, I would say, for especially free-to-play players, and it's a decision point which can definitely greatly impact your gaming experience for the next while. So if we were to look at the banner position, because I just wanted to go over what global looks like, so we can kind of see where Illya comes in. So we are at this point right here. So this picture is by Restia, who is a Korean server veteran. He made this. His website is also quite nice, so you can visit there. But looking at Illya, you can see we're here and we get a free temple for Illya, so hopefully everyone likes Sacker and we won't be having this conversation. However, for those of you that are committing some pulls, again, Illya's release is around here. You'll definitely have her dominate the arena after her release all the way till Summer Pico. So when Summer Pico comes out, Summer Pico is a limited unit. She is going to be quite good in arena. However, she falls off really fast. There is a gimmicky use for Summer Pico later on in Clan Battle, but that's really about it. I would say a lot of people are going to skip Summer Pico unless you're pulling her again for the wallpaper, which I really recommend. most of the players will be skipping her, so Illya is going to keep dominating. Summer Shizuru is not going to affect her. Summer Kyaru is going to make Illya better in clan battle, and we'll probably go all the way until Shinobu. And even, like I said, with Shinobu's release, you still have variations of Illya comps that can beat Shinobu. So it's not 100% lose when Shinobu is released. And on a bonus note, when Shinobu is released with Miyako, you can actually get a lot of mileage out of Illya because you run a Shinobu team in Team 1 if you will pull for her, and Illya team in Team 2, and pretty much that wins almost all of the arena Princess Arena battles. So again, you can see from the end of April all the way to the end of August, so at least 4 months, and also with the extension of the global schedule, and we are probably going to see Illya dominating the PvP side for 5 months. So that's quite a long time, and I believe it's definitely worth it. But however, if you look at in terms of opportunities to get Illya, you have the Summer Kyaru banner, which everyone should be pulling for sure. She's a limited unit that is a mage version of Makoto essentially. So you definitely want to get a copy of Summer Kyaru. And if you get Summer Kyaru, you will have the opportunity to pull Illya in the banner, and also after that you have Summer Tamaki, which you'll get 110 free pulls, and that comes with the Arena Shuffle. So around that time you can also have a chance to pull Illya. And of course, Shinobu, if you're going for that limited PvP unit, you can pull her as well. Although with the release of Shinobu, her effectiveness definitely falls short in terms of she's no longer the most dominating PvP unit. So we're really looking at the Summer Kyaru and the Summer Tamaki banner duration, where if you don't pull Illya, you can still get Illya as a perm unit from there. So in terms of my personal recommendations, if you are completely free to play, and you want to be extra safe and you don't want to miss out on limited units, you can wait until Summer Kyaru to try to luck stack her or try to get her through Tamaki. However, if you have 1.5 pity or 2 pity saved up, that's around 8 to 9k gems, I would recommend you to try the tickets that you got from the logging event, and plus some potentially some gems to just fish for Illya. If you do 100 pulls, you get a 50-50 chance to pull Illya, and it could be a worthwhile investment, especially if you have not gotten the rank 1 reward for both Battle Arena and Princess Arena. However, you need to really make sure that you have enough divine amulets. Again, 4-star at the very bare minimum. 3-star Illya is pretty much unusable, and 4-star is going to be very tough as well. So you're looking at 400 and ideally 1150. So we have the Illya event coming up, which unfortunately does not give Illya shards. However, it should give quite a few divine amulets, so you can probably save around 300 to 400 from the divine amulets drops from the next event. So you can make your decision then. Illya banner will last, I think, for 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, so it's quite a while. You don't have to commit on the day of. And you can also wait to see my review on how a 4-star Illya, if she would work on the global server. And looking at some of the comps and counters, because it's also a good time for you to climb to rank 1 in arena if you don't have Illya, because some Illya defense comps really just lose out to Ninon. So if you have Ninon 4-star, 5-star, you could you also utilize this opportunity to climb. And again, Illya definitely needs enablers. So that's my recommendation for free to play players if you have enough gems. Because again, Summer Kyaru is so important. You have to have at least 1.5 or 2 pities going into Illya, so that you can come out with at least a pity ready for Kyaru, and making sure you have enough divine amulets and making sure you have the enablers. For other players, I would say the mid-range players who can buy monthly packs or get one of the 7,500 gem monthly package, I would recommend Illya for sure, as she's such a great unit and just enables a lot of flexibility. And for mages, actually, I forgot to mention this point. If you already have Kyoka and you don't have Illya, that's alright for clan battle, because initially you can just borrow the Illya, and when Summer Karu comes out, for a period of time, if you don't have Summer Karu but you have Illya and Kyoka, you can just borrow the Summer Karu until I think we arrive at Halloween Misaki. During Halloween Misaki, you might see clan battle usage for her. Then you need actually Illya, Kyoka, and Summer Karu, and then you can borrow the limited if you don't have Halloween Misaki. So anyhow, that is my recommendations, and of course Wales will be pulling for her regardless. But free-to-play players, just make sure that you meet all these requirements and you have some quick thoughts regarding the pros and cons before you make your decision. And lastly, you can always wait for more community feedback and more videos regarding this topic. So that is my video on should you pull Illya or not. So next up, I believe tomorrow, well, hopefully I luck sack Illya from the temple. If not, I'll be pulling for her with tickets first, and then I'll be releasing videos on Illya comps, so you can run the variations and we can see how she'll be doing in arena, at least in the global server. And then later on, I'll release videos on countering Illyas. So yeah, that's it from me, and thanks for watching.